Vickery. Welcome to Brave in Action, my weekly live show where I share just a few tips on how you can step out of fear and into bravery in every possible way in your life. Um, we are closing in, my loves, on the end of 2022, which is crazy. Next week is Christmas for those who are celebrating. It just feels like it all happens very fast. Every year, I feel like the year goes faster and faster and faster. And we've done a session already, a Brave in Action live show on easing out of the year, but still manifesting what we want for the coming year. And I'm really, really here for that energy. Um, and it ties into today's topic, which is word of the year. So for those of you who are new, welcome. I am super glad. I'm having some issues with my Instagram feed. And I apologize to those of you who are watching me try to figure that out. My name is Heather Vickery. I am a transformational success coach. And what that means is I help people who are essentially in the void of no longer being who they used to be, but not quite being who they're yet going to be in this next phase, in this next iteration of what life has in store for them, for you. And, the void can be a scary space, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be a scary space. There's a lot of space in the void for reflection, for intentional growth and change, no longer being who you were. There's mourning, there's grief and letting those things go, but also so much excitement and joy in where you're going. And there's probably a lot of fear, right? Because new things can be hard and letting go of old things is hard. And it's scary to do that transformation, but it's powerful and it's beautiful and it's wonderful. And I love being a coach in this space and helping people get clarity and identify who the next version of them is going to be. How are you going to show up in the world? How are you going to engage with the world at large? And then to live into that. So if you're here, whether you're watching on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you are, say hi. Tell me you're here. I can see the eyeballs, so I know there are people around, but it's always really fun to know who exactly is here and to be able to connect with you all. So I don't know how many of you are receive my newsletter. If you receive them, I love that. If you don't and you would like to, you can subscribe at vickeryandco.com/social. There's a little link at the top. I bring that up because I shared kind of a very detailed story in my newsletter and letting you all know about today's Brave in Action topic, which is that 2022, this isn't news. If you've been around, if you've come to a live show before, 2022 really had my ass. It really, really, really did. And my word of the year going into 2022 was peace. And here's what I envisioned. I envisioned infusing peace into everything I did in my life. I would find a way to make peace a component in everything I did. What the universe had in mind, however, was that my work was in surrender. And that once I leaned into that, I would find peace because that has been the result. So the first half of the year, I was resisting, right? What we resist persists. I was fighting and fighting and fighting all of the things that I didn't want, pushing. I don't want this. I don't want this. I don't want this, rather than leaning into what I did want and surrendering the how and trusting the process. And the more I resisted and the more I pushed, what we resist persists. The more I did it, the worse it got until I just felt terrible. And I could still work because I love my work and I love my clients, but I was having a really hard time creating. It took me a long time to feel creative and inventive again. When I hit on the idea of the incubator, which is now open for membership, it felt like crazy fucking breakthrough. Like I was so excited that I had this creative breakthrough and I'm like, oh, we can do, okay. I can do this. I'm back and I'm not sure how, but I'll figure out how and it'll all be fine and it'll all work out. Right. That was super powerful. And it was then and I really started to lean into surrender, especially with my personal life and personal things and allowing things to exist and going, okay, it's not what I wanted it to be. How do I get it to what I can live with instead of pushing and resisting and fighting? And then that surrender component came in and then I felt peaceful. And then I felt hopeful again, which is a cornerstone of who I am as a person. Hope Hope is a huge component of how I successfully move through the world. Believing in possibility, knowing that we can create shift and change, knowing that there can be more, that we're not stuck, that this isn't the end of the story, this isn't it. Hope. It's hard to have hope when you're resisting. It's hard to manifest your desires when you're resisting. And we know what we know about energy. If you're an engineer or you're in quantum physics or you do energy work, like actual energy work, whatever it is, what we know about energy is that we create it. It is constant motion and movement, and that we are creating the future in this moment. That's all. It's all energy. It's an energy exchange. The rest of it's all fucking made up, right? And so if we want that, then we have to already be who and as and how we desire. I saw a video earlier today that I thought was brilliant, and I'm going to give it a try, I think, but it sounds a little overwhelming. So I want to be super transparent about that. It was a manifestation ritual for the coming year. I do not know whose video it was. It was not my original content, but I love it. So I'm sharing it with you. Um, forgive me. Um, to take a day, block out several hours, take some time, and write out your memoir for the year at your highest functioning self. Hi, Kirsten. Welcome. Your highest functioning self. All of your dreams have come true. Everything you want is true, and be granular and detailed as possible. Write out a whole memoir for you for the year. Then tuck it away. You don't need to see it all the time, but get a journal. And every day, journal as if. Journal as if you are experiencing your life in that memoir that you created, which is the future you're creating for yourself in the moment. And I was like, that's fucking badass. Now, maybe journaling is hard for you. Sometimes journaling can be hard for me as well. I'm so good at routines and systems, but carving out that time can be really, really tricky. But I think that seems like it's worth trying. I certainly know that it can't cause any harm because manifestation, as you've heard me say over and over, and as we say consistently on my podcast that I co-host with Alan Seals, Was It Chance, is manifestation isn't about, declaring something, and wishing something and then it just magically comes true. It's about declaring a thing and then changing how you show up in the world to realize and actualize that thing. And that's one of the reasons that we use word of the year. I do. I love it. I encourage it. And so that's what I wanted to share with you all today is, have you discovered your word of the year? Have you ever done it before? If you're watching, comment. Do you usually pick a word of the year? Is this a new concept for you? How's that showing up for you? I've been doing it for a really long time, and all with a little bit of humility, right? I started this story by saying my word of 2022 was peace, and 2022 was not fucking peaceful, y'all. It was stressful until I leaned into surrender, and I learned that in order to actually have peace, I have to fucking let go of the details. I have to let go of the minutia. I have to walk away from thinking that I actually can control everything and just trust the process. I have to know what I want. What is that result that I'm seeking? And let go of how I get there. That brought me peace. It was a really interesting lesson. So I love having y'all do a word of the year. So for some people, it just appears, it's magical, it just shows up. For some of you, you have to do those end of the year reflections, practice that brave method, right? Oh, Kirsten, courage. And so you've made a phrase, courage to be you, but it's courage. And I really love that. Kirsten and I are going to get to work together. I'm super excited in the new year. And I'm curious to know more about what that means for you specifically, right? In what ways do you feel like you're not you right now? And what does it mean to be you? And how can that shift things? And what boundaries do you need to set? And who do you need to ask for support from? And what a kind of accountability? And how does it shift how you show up in the world when you do that? Right? It's really fascinating. So we want to dig in because then that's how we manifest, right? Is we do the work. We don't just do it. How does it shift us so we can live into it? Ellen, hi. Ellen has never done it before. Ellen is a member of the incubator. We're going to start that in just a few weeks in January. I'm super excited. I really like a word of the year because it's a thing you can focus on, and it's crazy how it manifests in different ways. I have had several over the course of the year. We had play one year, expand a couple of years ago. That was massive. That year was filled with expansion because there's something, we know this when we focus on something, when we put our energy towards something, we see more of it. And my energy at that year was towards expanding myself, my knowledge, my business, all of these things. And I looked for ways to do that. It's sort of like buying a new car that you didn't know. A couple of years ago, I got a Chevy Traverse. I'd never even heard of a Chevy Traverse before. And I bought it. And now I see them everywhere because now they know that they exist, right? We have to know something exists and seek it to see more of it and to find opportunities and to see those doors open. It may or may not surprise all of you that I am continuing the work that I know is here for me, and I have felt it all year long. My word of the year for 2023 is surrender. It feels scary even saying that. It is surrender, but what I mean when I say that isn't give up. It isn't don't work hard. It isn't I don't care. It's surrendering the how. Intentionally surrendering the how. In order for me to manifest that, I know that looks like very thoughtful planning and intention on what I want to create. So way over here, which is why I think that manifestation, writing your memoir for the year and then journaling felt so like it connected so beautifully because we can then go, I don't know how we're going to do that, but I believe we are. And then we are open to the opportunities. We see how that stuff shows up for us. When we create a word of the year, when we're manifesting what we want, what we deeply desire, you want to put those manifestation tools to work on it. So whatever you want more of, so always keep it positive. It's not less or not negative. It's more of. You want to intentionally do that. It's kind of like pulling a Create Brave card, right? Like when you see it show up, you pull the card dance or you pull the card play and you go, gosh, where can I get more of that? Where does that show up for me? If I want to play more, how can I play in all the different ways of my life? If I want to dance more, what does that mean throughout my day? Does it mean when I make a sale, I do a happy dance? Does it mean when I wake up? I have a friend who does what she calls dance attitude in the morning. So she's got a rockin' morning playlist, which I have gone back and forth with whether or not I love personally doing it, but I love the idea. She's like, you get up in the morning and you shake your ass with attitude. So she calls it dance attitude. And it just like puts her in the mood in the morning. I kind of like quiet, chill mornings, but I don't always get them. So I sort of pick and choose when I want to use that resource. But a word of the year, what are you inviting in? And maybe it's the opposite of something you've experienced in the year before. And for me, surrender is that choice because I really held on tight for a good portion of the year to things that I wanted to stay the same or to go back to the way they used to be. And you can't go back. You can't go back. And once I realized that, I'm like, okay, I have to create a new normal. I have to start fresh. I have to try something different. That really, truly shifted things for me. So, Kirsten's courage to be you. I love that. So, Ellen, you've never done it before, and I'm hoping you'll pick it now. You can lean into it. So, some of the ways, some people, maybe you do a meditation or you go for a walk. If you practice your 3 R's, you really go through the year. What did you love? What did you learn? What do you want to bring into next year? What energy? So, maybe it's something you want to continue. Maybe it's something you want to start for the first time or that you want to shift or change. Some great words of the year I've heard from other people. Brave has been one of them for sure. Community. I want to be engaged. I want to be intentional. I want to be more thoughtful. I want to rest more. I love that one. That's a beautiful one. I want to be more aware. It could be anything. So play with it and then have it show up in your life. I have some people who will save it as a screensaver on their phone, turn it into coloring sheets to color it, pin it up on your vision board, make your password whatever you want to manifest your word of the year to be. Like bring that energy in all the different ways as often as possible, as many different ways as possible, and see how it shows up. And if you are journaling or if you're doing a gratitude journal or a wins journal or anything like that, which I love doing, um, keep note of when that word shows up for you. For me, with surrender, I would prefer to not have the universe kick my ass and then remind me, I got to surrender. I got to surrender. Instead, I want to be thoughtful on the front end. I want to be intentional and say, here is what I am creating. Here's the desired outcome. I'm going to focus on being that person who's achieving this thing. And I'm going to let the how go. I'm going to look for those opportunities when they show up, step into those invitations when they show up, and go from there. Because, I interviewed a woman on the Brave Files podcast years ago named Alua Arthur. Alua is fucking amazing. She's a death doula. And in fact, I had a follow-up conversation with her and I quoted her in my book, Fuck Fearless, because she's just an incredible human being. She's told me that death brought her back to life, which is fascinating. You should go listen to the episode if you're like, what the fuck does that even mean? Really, it's powerful. And I reconnected with her because I've always struggled with fall and winter. Things dying hurts me. I am an empath and I can feel it. And I get really depressed and I get really sad. And the rewriting, when I learned, my then third grader, she's now 16, taught me this, that the leaves, do you guys know this? That the color the leaves turn in the fall is their natural color. When they're bright green, it's because they're filled with chlorophyll. And as the chlorophyll comes out, as they're dying away, hibernating, resting until the spring, their truest self presents. They show up authentically as themselves. And it made me think of losing my grandmother, who towards the very end of her life showed up as her truest self, 0 fucks to give, right? Really ready to just live the last of her life as open and honest and fuck it all as possible. We show up as our truest selves when we're closer to death. And do we have to wait until death to do that? So much of my work is like, we don't have to wait until you're dying to do that. But it's hard because we think we're supposed to behave a certain way or do a certain thing or engage a certain way, or we have to go like this or change like that or stop like this or take everybody's shit on, and we don't. You don't have to fucking do that all the time. You just don't. And you can be kind and considerate and thoughtful and helpful to people without sacrificing yourself all the time. There are ways to do that. We're going to talk people through that in the incubator. When I work with people one-on-one, we do that. That's what we do. That's a huge part of empowering yourself and leaning into bravery and building a life and a business on your own terms that fit your needs, your expectations, and shift and grow with you. Right? So Alua posted on Instagram earlier this week, worry, and then an arrow, and die. and don't worry, and then an arrow and die. And I was like, that's it though, really, isn't it? That we're going to die. And I don't mean to be a downer. It's not a downer. We're going to die. The question is, how do you want to live until you get there? And for me, it's the same with surrender. Like, you're going to fucking surrender. Universe told me that this year. You're going to surrender either on your own of your own free will, and you're going to feel good in the process, or I'm going to kick your ass until you don't have a fucking choice. Either way, you're going to fucking surrender. So decide what you want to do, right? Decide what you want to do. You want to worry until you die, or do you want to not worry until you die? You get a choice. I know I'm all over the place, but feel all of these things and see what shows up for you as it helps you pick your word of the year. It's just something to live into, right? To see what happens. And sometimes it's going to be prevalent in front of mine, and you're going to see it and feel it a lot. And sometimes you're going to go, oh, I forgot that was my word of the year. Look how it manifested. So I hope you're all going to do it. And I would love for you to reach out. You can send me an email, heather@vickeryandco.com. You can find me on Instagram at Vickery & Co. Let me know what your word of the year is. How are you manifesting it? How do you want to show up in that way? What does it really mean to you? So, Kirsten, I'm excited for you to dig in, like, courage to be you. What does that mean for you? And how is that going to show up? We're going to have so much fun talking about that. And Ellen, I hope that you tried it or that you choose to try it, and what's going to show up for you, and anybody else who's here, who's hanging out. Those are things I like to do towards the end of the year because I don't want to hustle. I'm not like trying to sprint to the finish line. I want to ease out. I hope that you want to ease out, but with thought and with intention and with a little forethought into how you want to show up next year, right? How do you want to plan? How do you want to be? Who do you want to be? How do you want the world to react and respond to you? Decide, because it's going to do all of those things with or without you. Do you want all of the outside stuff to decide who and how you're going to be? Do you want to be reactionary, or do you want to be in charge? I will say that we are closing the doors to the incubator very, very soon because we are going to get started. If you are in the void, if you are an entrepreneur and you're in the void and you want accountability and support and coaching and community and guidance in creating and manifesting and having a life and a business that you really love and want, let's have a chat. There are really only a couple of spots open because I'm being very intentional about keeping it small. Send me a DM. Send me an email, Heather@Vickery & Co. You can look at the sales page. Go ahead, look at the sales page, but it's a fucking sales page, you guys. You've all done them. You've all created them. You've all had them. And it doesn't show the heart. So let's see if it fits for you. Let's have a conversation and decide if it's a good fit for you. And we'll see what happens from there. Ellen says you're going to give it a try, but I want to think about it rather than say the first thing that comes to mind. Totally fair. Although don't lose sight of what's the first thing that comes to mind, because often that's a really impactful thing. It's telling you something. But yeah, sit with it, play with it. You're going to know, right? You're going to know. It's going to speak to you. So before we go today, I'm going to pull a Create Brave card. I love doing this. This is the deck of manifestation cards that I created with my amazing friend, Rachel Swanson. Comes in this beautiful little box. Okay, fine. Alignment. I love it. Now watch us pull alignment. Watch that be the fucking card that comes up. That would be crazy. Wouldn't that be so creepy? Ellen's word is alignment. Ellen, I can't wait to pull your human design chart. I have my theories, but I'm excited. Okay. So these are manifestation cards. If you like affirmation, manifestation, they're just designed to help you think out of the box about your day, your week. Like, what do you want to show up? Did you send it to me? I don't remember if you did or not. Sorry. Once I really thoroughly look at it, I'm going to have it. Okay. I shuffle these cards until the right one pops up. And I swear to you, we've had a couple who I feel like are trying to pop out, but but that's the one. Now, you guys, the universe is crazy. When I first started shuffling, this card turned over, but I had barely started talking and I had barely started shuffling. So I was like, oh, I can't pick that word yet, that card yet. That's not it. But it literally just jumped out of the deck onto the floor. Grounded. You guys see it? I love these cards. I remain rooted and connected. Look how beautiful the artwork is. Rachel did all the artwork. It's so special. I like to look at the card, the artwork. What does it inspire? What does grounded mean? What does it mean today? What does it mean in general for the week? How does it make me feel? Do I feel it in my body? And that one, when I read it, it felt like my shoulders, someone resting their hands on my shoulders and just sort of reminding me that my feet are on the ground, that I have what I need, that I know, that I'm connected. I remain rooted and connected. And then the cards come with a guidebook. And so let's read it to you. If anybody wants one of these decks for yourself or you want to give them as a holiday gift, we can still do it, folks, but this is it, like this week. You got to get them this week. Let me know. You can either go straight to my website and buy it, or if you want to do like Venmo or Zelle or PayPal or something like that, just message me and I can get them shipped out in the next couple of days and you will have them in time for the holidays. The deck is $48. And for the rest of this week, I'll give you free shipping within the continental United States because I want to and I get to do what I want. I love being my own boss. They're worth every penny, though. They're so much fun. Okay. So I'll hold the card up. Grounded. I remain rooted and connected. Your energy requires being physically connected to the earth. Walking barefoot or having your hands in the dirt connects you to the space you inhabit. Stay rooted in your life, community, and the world. Feel it on your skin. Take deep breaths and practice quiet meditation. Remember all the beautiful things for which you are grateful. Center yourself. Connect with your spirit. You are not simply a vessel that holds a brain. You are a body that deserves to be connected to the physical earth and space around you. Be wholly present in this life. You may not know the direct path you are on, but you know the general direction and your purpose is clear. Stay present in your body. Create brave prompts. So this is a thing you can go and do. Seek out the sunspot in your house or go outside barefoot and physically connect to the earth. I really like that. Kirsten says, I needed this reminder to stay grounded for Christmas preparation season. You know, that's true. It's really, really true. Especially during the holidays, it's really easy to get all in a hustle and a bustle and not stay grounded. I can promise you, though, it's all going to be okay. And you do not have to be Superwoman. You don't have to do it all. You don't have to solve all the problems. You don't have to make everything. If things don't work out exactly right, no one's going to be upset. It's going to all be okay. I promise you, it's all going to be just right, especially if we decide to let it be. If we let go of controlling every minute and every outcome and we decide to just stay present and grounded, I promise you, it's all going to be more than okay. It's going to be just right. All right, folks, I love you. I am your biggest fucking fan. Super excited to be spending this time with you. We are going to do a live show next week. I haven't decided if I'm going to take some days off from the live show, some weeks off after the new year. My kids don't have school. I very well may, but I am going to be here next week. And I'm really looking forward to spending that time with you. If you want to connect, reach out. Please do that. If you're interested in the incubator, please, please, please reach out. It's going to be some fucking incredible stuff. We have amazing people already confirmed. Super fucking excited about it. And maybe the only thing it's missing is you. So let me know. Take good care. Have a great rest of the week. Until we get a chance to talk again, I'm Heather Vickery, reminding you today and every single day to go out and choose bravely. Bye now.